folks. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to play Hanamikoji. Also, this is my first YouTube video ever, so I'm pretty excited. Anyways, Hanamikoji is a card game created by Ember S4 with TBD, Taiwan board game design. And actually, a few years ago, I met someone in a board game cafe who works for TBD, so he helped creating this game, which is pretty cool. So as you can tell by the artwork, the game concept is based upon the history of geishas in Japan. So the concept is there are a number of different geishas, and you are going to be offering them gifts in their area of expertise in order to win their favor. I also heard that this game is a little bit in the structure of a war strategy game, and by that I mean there are two opposing sides playing against each other, and there's a lot of strategy where you are giving up a battle, you're choosing to lose a battle in order to win the overall war. So this game, as I mentioned, is 2-player, and it is quite short. However, this game has an interesting mechanic where if the two sides draw, then you more or less restart the game with a couple of caveats. So the game lasts 10-20 minutes depending. So as you can see, there are 7 different geishas, and they are all worth different point amounts at the end of the game. And to keep track of who has the favor of the geishas, there are these little favor tokens, which we'll place in the middle of each geisha card. Okay, so as I mentioned, in order to win the favor of these geishas, you'll be giving them these gifts, and each of these gifts has a number at the top, which is the same as the number for that geisha, and that means 2 things. One, that's the number of points that geisha is worth at the end of the game, and it's also the number of cards for that geisha that are in this deck. So this geisha has a 5, which means there are 5 hairpin cards in this gift deck. So in your hand, you will have 6 cards to start with. And at the beginning of each turn, you will pick up a card before you do your action. This honestly is the most forgotten step whenever we play this game. I don't know why, but please do remember, before you do your action, pick up a card. So, as you can kind of see by these cards, each one corresponds to a specific geisha. So when you play a card, it will automatically go to that corresponding geisha. So this yellow 2 goes to this yellow 2, orange 3, purple 2, and so on. So in order to win the favor of the geisha, you have to give her more gifts than the other player does. So, for example, with the teapots, if I gave her 1 teapot, you gave her 0 teapots, I would then win that geisha. However, if we tied, if we both gave her 2 teapots each, no one would win that geisha, and the favor token would remain in the geisha, you would get